Recruiting never stops. It's time for the Recruiting Insider as Texas gets ready to take on Georgia. We are finally to that week. I'm Chad Hastings. That is your Recruiting Insider, Jason Sukamel of orangebloods.com. Don't forget about the 321 article and all the great content at orangebloods.com. Let me grab a QR code for you here. There it is. All the content you want. Not to mention all the incredible stuff as we get ready for the Georgia game. We debut here on the Wednesday morning before that game. War Room coming on Thursday night. All the content, all the articles, and of course, all the recruiting stuff from Jason and the orangebloods.com crew. So get signed up today if you have not. Also, shout out to Longhorn Wealth Management Group. We'll tell you more about our main sponsor as we go along. Jason, good to see you. I'm sure we'll get a thought or two from you on the Georgia game as we roll through, but we got recruiting updates for everybody, and we're going to start with, believe it or not, if you look at your calendars, about a month away.
Less than a month. 3 weeks.
3 weeks
to the day. Yeah.
3 weeks till signing day. I guess that's true, right? We're debuting here on this Wednesday. You're right. It's December 3rd. Circle it if you haven't. We are closing in fast, and we're going to start today with some names Texas would love to add to that 26 list. Jason's been able to catch up with some and get some updates on others. So, Jason, let's just start it off here. And, looky there. It's one of those legacies everybody's been talking about. Let's start with Jaylen Lot. Give him a good update.
Well, my first segment of my 3-2-1, I just said, hey, here's what the perfect ending to this class would be. Not that I'm predicting all these guys to commit, but I said, if the coaches could say, okay, I want a guy at this position and here, this would be a perfect ending. So the number one guy I put on my list is Jaylen Lot, the wide receiver / DB / track star, but mostly a wide receiver out of Panther Creek up there in the DFW area. So Texas went and watched his game last weekend on the off week. I think it was Sark and maybe Chris Jackson was there. So, Texas is still trying and working here on Jaylen Lot. He's still committed to Oregon. He did visit Texas earlier this year for one game. Obviously, the staff would love to get him back in for another one. Listen, would he be a part of the perfect ending? Absolutely. Do I expect him to flip to Texas? Probably not. I would not put my money on that happening. I think he probably sticks with Oregon as things stand right now. But, Chad, we said it. You got 3 weeks left. Crazy things can happen, in the last 3 weeks of a recruiting cycle. So Jaylen Lot would certainly be part of that dream scenario.
Yeah. Jaylen, if you're watching the show, it is a hassle to change uniforms every week. Like every week. I mean, come on now. You come to Austin, got a set schedule, and you know what you're going to be wearing. You can tell your family what you'll wear each week. That's a big deal. Come on now. Big deal. All right, Jaylen Lot.
I'll be the guy in either white or burnt orange. It's not going to be all these crazy colors.
Right. So this weird stuff. You're going to confuse people. I mean, you got older folks watching. Nobody's grandmother can keep up with all the Oregon's uniforms. Come on. All right. So, Jason, what about the offensive line here? This is, I believe, a guy who's committed to an SEC school already, Bryson Martinez.
Yeah, we know Texas would love to add at least one more offensive lineman. He seems to be the most logical option. He is committed to LSU. He's from Louisiana, committed to LSU super early. He did come in, Chad, for the Vanderbilt game on an unofficial visit. He's now coming back for an official visit the weekend of the Arkansas game.
Oh,
this one's a little tough to predict. I mean, 2 visits, right? I mean, that tells you he's serious. Texas really needs him. He's a really good offensive tackle prospect. But there's so many unknowns at LSU. I mean, who are they going to hire? Are they going to keep? How much of their staff are they going to keep? So still some unknowns in this one, but definitely Texas has a very strong shot at flipping Bryson Martinez, assuming the official visit goes well. The unofficial visit went very well. I actually communicated with his mom this week, so we'll touch base with her after the visit and kind of see her perspective, see how it goes. But, I think Texas has a real chance here. Anytime you get a guy to come in for an official visit, that's worth noting. And Bryson Martinez will be in for an official visit.
Yeah, that's huge. I didn't realize that was the official visit. And also Texas with the opportunity. We knew the games were coming up, Jason, but now we know minimum it's a 2:30 kick Arkansas and an evening kick with the Aggies. It could also be an evening kick with Arkansas, which could make those really turn into big-time recruiting weekends. But we know Arkansas is not an 11 a.m. So that's big for Texas to be able to have at least pretty good with Arkansas, maybe really good with both of those as things ramp up to the end.
Texas has been targeting that Arkansas game for months as a big recruiting weekend. So that's going to be a big weekend, regardless for 27 underclassmen guys. I mean, it's going to be, it'll be a big turnout.
You could see that being a huge weekend because it's sort of that last normal weekend, right? You're going into Thanksgiving week. Maybe they could figure out how to make the Aggie game, but that's a Friday and it's different.
You got high school playoffs games going on and stuff.
There you go.
There's a lot going on.
So the 22nd does feel like that last sort of regular weekend, maybe to get it done. We'll keep our eye on that list. Bryson Martinez, a guy that's on the list with an official visit. That could be big. All right, let's go D-line here. A couple guys. Richard Anderson.
Yeah, I put him on the list because, A, he's a really good player. He's an interior defensive lineman. He's out of Edna Carr in New Orleans, a teammate of Hayward Howard, the Texas cornerback commitment. Texas just lost a defensive tackle commitment in Dylan Berryman. They'd like to add another one if possible. Richard Anderson's really good. He's a really good player. Pull him up. I think he's top like 50-ish in the country, Chad. 53 nationally, regardless of position.
Is he also committed to LSU?
He is. I should have pointed that out. Thank you. Yeah, also committed to LSU. He's supposed to come up, for a game, be an unofficial visit. It's kind of touch and go on that one. We'll see if he actually shows. But hey, if we're talking about a dream scenario of how this class falls together, Richard Anderson would be part of it because he's a really good player at a need position, another defensive tackle, kind of a replacement for Dylan Berryman, if you will. And with all due respect to Dylan Berryman, it'd be a pretty significant upgrade.
All right, Jason, I've not hidden my feelings at all about this guy. I want this guy on the list. We had a whole show where we really focused in on Jamarian Carlton, and he's got it. We talked about the schedule he's got coming up. So what do we know about Carlton and maybe one of these Texas games coming up?
If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were from Temple. You really have a man crush on Jamarian Carlton, but you have for a long time. So
I don't know what it is about this idea. I love the idea of Jamarian Carlton coming to Texas. It just feels right to me.
And listen, he's a good guy to have your man crush on. He's an awesome player and an awesome young man. But he did attend the Vanderbilt game, and he kind of left it open about possibly coming back for another game. He's like, "Hey man, I'm just taking it day by day." I talked to him after the Vandy game. He said, "I'm taking it day by day." So he didn't have any firm plans. He of course is committed to Baylor still. Didn't have any firm plans to come back, but I think it's a very much a possibility that he comes back for one of these two remaining Texas home games. Baylor, I mean, listen, Dave Aranda doesn't exactly have it cooking over there, like Sark does in Austin. Would you rather play on a bigger stage in the SEC versus playing in the Big 12 at Baylor? There's a lot for Texas to sell, but Baylor did win this one originally with a pretty strong NIL offer. So, I mean, that stuff's going to have to come into play. And I don't know, Chad, I'm going to ask you a question. I mean, I've heard rumblings like Aranda being on the hot seat. I don't know. Have you heard anything of that nature?
I haven't heard it specifically, but the way this season's going, who's not on the hot seat?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think
if you're not having a terrific year and you're not in that playoff discussion up high, you're probably in danger.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of been floating around there. I mean, I've heard it. I've heard people say, "Oh, if something happens with Aranda, that will help with Carlton." Well, okay, obviously, I'm telling you, if we're hearing it, I promise you, Carlton's hearing it in his hallways. His buddies are saying, "Dude, you're going to Baylor. He might not even be your coach in a year or two." So, again, Texas wants an edge player. We know they're after Dre Quinn. Carlton's still in play here. So, again, dream scenario. Am I predicting Jamarian Carlton to Texas? No, I'd probably put it at less than 50% right now. But he would fall into that dream scenario to kind of fill out this Texas class.
Yeah. And remember, if Jamarian's watching the show, we mapped it out. He can really hit everything he wants. Utah at Baylor is this weekend while Texas is on the road. Then you come back, hit the Texas-Arkansas game, no problem. You're coming back on Black Friday if you like to see Texas play the Aggies. And Baylor plays that Saturday. You catch it all. 2 Wacos, 2 Austins, no waiting. Come on. It's no problem. And then you'll get a good comparison. I mean, Jason, what better way to decide what you're talking about, right? Waco or Austin, Baylor or Texas. Do 2 games of each and figure it out. I mean, you were just in Austin, as you mentioned, but hey, give each one of them their fair shake and see what happens.
Honestly, hey, dude, this is your stretch run of your recruiting process. You only get to do it once. Well, I guess if you transfer, you still go through it a little bit. But Yeah, make the most of these last 2 weeks, Jamarian. Get out and see these campuses a couple times.
Yeah. All right. So we got all those guys on the defensive side. We're actually going to stay on the defensive side for these last two names as well. These, again, are guys that in Jason's mind, if Texas could add all these guys, it's a perfect world, perfect Flipmas kind of world. This is how Texas could really finish out 26, the class really strong. All right, Jason, linebacker Kuran Maycock.
Yeah, he's a guy that they offered fairly recently. He took his official visit. He came in for that Vanderbilt game. He's committed to Florida State. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he would make national headlines if he commits to Texas. He's a 3-star guy. He's got a really impressive offer list, though. And if you watch his film, he does fly around, covers a lot of ground on the field. But Texas wants another linebacker in this class. He's kind of their best option at this point. So, again, he's not Jaylen Lot, where if that happens, it's going to be a national headline. But if Texas wants another linebacker, and they do, he would be a guy that would make a lot of sense. Like I said, he just visited a couple weeks ago. I talked to him after that visit. He said, hey, I'm still trying to decide. It's going to be a tough decision between Texas and Florida State. So still undecided a little bit on that one. But if the staff does want another linebacker, and they do, Kuran Maycock would make a lot of sense.
All right, the one more name on this wish list. It'll also be the defensive side of the ball. We got some 2027 stuff coming up, as well as a little Q&A for Jason from the 321 article. First, though, let me tell you about Longhorn Wealth Management Group and our guy, John, lifetime Longhorn, 6 siblings and his wife. Yeah, they're all Texas folks. That's one of the main reasons why they ended up naming and creating this company, but naming it Longhorn Wealth Management Group over 30 years ago, dedicated to providing investment, retirement, insurance, and estate planning services and solutions to Longhorn families and friends across the nation. John was able to enjoy the bye week hosting the Longhorn Wealth annual client appreciation event. The event was at Tupp's Brewery in McKinney. That sounds like a good time, where everybody did have a good time, enjoy their bye week. And now John is focused and fired up for the Georgia game. Here's the prediction. He likes the Horns. 30-24 is John's prediction. He wants to share that confidence with all the OB Live fans and offer that free 90-minute private consultation. Learn how working with a certified financial planner like John can help you maximize your wealth, minimize your taxes, and ensure your legacy. 972-707-4900 or go to longhornwealth.net. Thanks to John and his crew for being the sponsor of the Recruiting Insider. Jason, not that I'm prying for information, but do you have kind of the feeling John has this week? Do you have any idea where you're going to end up? You've said, I get the sense you might be swaying back and forth on this week.
I am.
John's swaying the Longhorns way. What do you think?
Well, right now I'm swaying the same way John is. I've gone back and forth on this. But in my 3-2-1, I went back to my prediction from a month ago when I said, hey, Texas was going to win 5 in a row before the A&M game. They'd won 3, so they'd have to beat Georgia this weekend in Arkansas. And I also said that same prediction. I think A&M might be undefeated when they come to Austin. So I'm like, you know what the hell? I'm going to stick to my guns on that prediction. My head tells me Georgia at home is probably the smarter pick. But then I'm like, Texas, backs against the wall. They're going to come out like a caged animal.
A little more desperate than the dogs are.
Yeah. So I'm leaning Texas right now, Chad. And I hope, as I do my breakdowns of the game, which I'll post on Orange Bloods, of course, I hope it doesn't sway me back the other direction. So I'm leaning Texas as of right now.
They do not only just have scholarship guys at Georgia, they do have some really good players there too.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah, we will see. But hey, I think a lot of people in the state of Texas would be highly interested in an 11-0 A&M against a 9-2 Texas with everything that could be on the line. That'd be a lot of fun. So we'll see if we can get there. One other name on this wish list, Jason. Let's finish it up with a DB, Josiah Vilmeal.
Yep. Yeah, Vilmeal. And I actually put 3 DBs as possibilities because the staff, again, kind of like linebacker, they want an offensive line. They want another defensive back in this class. Josiah Vilmeal, Teray Davis is a guy out of Colorado. Haven Finney's a guy that's committed to LSU. He's Richard Wesley's teammate out in California. Of the 3 that are most logical, of those 3, the one that's most logical or likely is Vilmeal. He's out of Fort Bend Travis down the Houston area. Texas just offered him on Friday. And I talked to him early this week. He's got a bunch of visits scheduled. Okay. He's got Kansas State. He's got Houston. He's got Arizona State. So he doesn't really have any available weekends. And he just visited Baylor last week, I believe. But he said, he told me, hey, I'm probably going to drop that Houston visit and take a Texas official visit. It'd be the weekend of the Arkansas game. And this dude really likes that Texas offer. Okay. I mean, it meant a lot for him to get it. He wants to study business. Obviously, Texas can sell that.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked him, Chad, because I think this is a possibility. I said, hey, Josiah, is there a chance if you take that Texas visit, if you like it so much that you just shut it down and just don't take the Kansas State visit and just commit to Texas? He goes, yeah, it's possible. He's pretty honest about it. So, we'll see if the staff pushes to bring him in. He was going to talk to him about setting up that visit. If they do, I think that one trends Texas's way. Absolutely. And I think Texas, he's an intriguing guy. He's a 3-star prospect. He's, again, not super highly rated, but he's 6'1", 185. He can play all over the secondary. According to him, and I haven't seen it, I don't know where it's verified, but he has a verified 4.3, like low 4.3s, 4.33, I think it was, 40-yard dash. So he's a guy that's got an intriguing athletic profile, but he's a little bit underranked, and he's not going to move the needle a ton, but he's a guy that maybe comes in and, you take a year or two to groom him, and then he kind of falls into place in terms of that athletic profile with his size and speed.
6'1" with a 4.3. That's a nice combo in the defensive backfield.
Now, we know kids sometimes fudge the numbers a little bit. Right? He said it's verified. Again, I don't know where it's verified or
how dare you.
Running. Yeah.
How dare you?
He was running downhill with a tailwind behind him. I don't know what was going on, but he says he runs a 4.3. So, yes.
Hey, it's verified, Jason. What are you talking about? It's verified. So, real quick, before we leave the list and this discussion, you said there's interest in K-State. Is he committed to K-State, or has he been there and visited, or do you know?
I don't think he's visited. He's scheduled to visit there the last weekend. It'd be the weekend Texas plays A&M. He's a former Oklahoma State commitment. So, but K-State is slotted to get an official visit, as is Arizona State, and right now Houston. I think, and Baylor just got one. I think just in talking to him, I kind of think maybe Kansas State's the biggest threat to Texas. But again, I think if Texas pushes, Texas wins out now. So
you're saying it might be a back-to-back where he hits the Texas-Arkansas game and then maybe goes to a K-State game the next week?
That's the plan right now. But he did say, because his birthday is like the 24th or something like that of November. So it's like the Monday, the Monday after the Arkansas game, 24th, 25th, I can't remember exactly. But he said, I'd like to commit on my birthday. So because I don't know if I could somehow move that K-State visit up, or maybe he just doesn't take the K-State visit if he goes to Texas and loves it. Yeah. So.
Wow. Happy birthday. I'm always interested in recruiting visits, Jason, and how they might compare and contrast. You put Austin and Manhattan, Kansas that close together. I'll be interested to see how the kid responds, because I like Austin's chances there.
Yeah, I've never been to Manhattan, and I don't think I'm missing much by not going to Manhattan. So.
Yeah, it's just going to be a very different kind of recruiting trip. It's going to also determine what kind of kid we're talking about here. Right? Like, I'm not saying K-State puts a bad recruiting trip together. It's going to be different. It's a different feel of everything. And to your discussion earlier about Carlton, it's a, Big 12 versus SEC, and you got to decide a lot of things. That's different than it used to be. It used to be a Texas and K-State are playing each other either every year or every other year or whatever. Not the same
if academics matter the way Josiah told me they do.
Yeah.
He said, hey, that's big to me. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Texas versus K-State. I mean, it's not even the same league. So.
Of course. All right. So there's that wish list, the group of guys that could finish out the 26 discussion in a big time way for Texas. All right. A couple of notes here in the 2027 group. One maybe not great news. The other hopefully could be good news. Let's start with the kind of bad news, Jason, here. It's a decommitment. Taven Epps, a name that was on the 2027 list, is no longer there. Give us the details here. And is Texas now out of this, or could it come back around?
Yeah, he was Texas's only 2027 commitment. He's a linebacker out of Tustin, California. Had been committed to Texas for a while. I'm trying to remember exactly when he committed. Can't even recall. But it had been a while. But even like the day he committed, I remember talking to him, and it was pretty obvious he was a soft commitment. He's like, yeah, I'm still going to weigh my options and do this, that, and the other. Well, he's taken a bunch of game visits this week to other places other than Texas, or this year, other than Texas. And I actually got word on Friday that Johnny Nansen was at his game, Texas linebacker coach Johnny Nansen. But I also got word that, hey, he's probably going to decommit pretty soon. So I was like, okay, weird combination. But I called Taven on Sunday just to kind of pick his brain. And he didn't come out and say like, hey, I'm going to decommit. But it was pretty obvious. I was like, hey, are you going to maybe come in to any of these Texas games? And he's like, well, he was scheduled maybe to come to the Arkansas game. But he's like, I think I'm going to go to Arkansas or A&M. I'm drawing a blank, but whatever one. He goes, I think I'm going to now go that same weekend to Oklahoma. And I'm like, wait a second, you're not visiting Texas, but you're going to Oklahoma for a second visit because he's already visited Oklahoma. And he just kind of told me, like he said, no, him and Nansen still talk. Obviously, Johnny Nansen went to his game, but I don't feel like the communication was as consistent as maybe you would have thought it would have been for a guy that was a firm commitment. So long story short, I talked to him on Sunday. It was pretty obvious that what was going down, especially considering I had heard on Friday he was going to decommit. I put a note on Orange Bloods like, hey, this is worth watching. And by the end of that evening, he had officially decommitted from Texas.
Gotcha. Okay. So a decommitment there. Maybe a name not to forget, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think Texas is out of it. I think that's exactly right. I mean, it's not often a guy decommits and then goes back to the same school. It's happened, but not a lot. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. I think that's a good way to put it. Don't forget the name Taven Epps, but it's certainly not on the commitment list anymore.
Yeah, certainly tougher, but we do see it. I feel like we see it a little more than we used to. Like
10, I do too. Yeah, I think you're right.
10 years ago, I would tell you somebody decommits, say goodbye. Yeah. But it's different now. It's a little different, I think, different vibe with that. All right, we do have some possible good news in that 2027 class with a name you're going to need to know. Before that, let me tell you about the name of John and Longhorn Wealth Management. Definitely a name you want to know. And if you are up in the Dallas area, pay attention. John is, as we've told you, a big member of that Collin County chapter of the Texas X's. And they're going back to Dirty Birds for the big night watch party with Texas and Georgia. Dirty Birds in Plano. Go see them Saturday night. They're expecting a huge crowd. So make sure you get there early. Reach out to John for all the details. Also, John wants to recognize November is National Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So he's encouraging all OB Live fans to review their own long-term care protection strategies to ensure they're properly protected if they or their spouse are afflicted with Alzheimer's or any other such incapacitating condition. Remember, John's offering the free 90-minute private consultation to all OB Live fans to review and analyze your risk management profile and evaluate your situation. That free 90-minute consultation, you can call 972-707-4900, get it set up that way, or go online to longhornwealth.net. If I wasn't going where I was going, Dirty Birds in Plano sounds like a pretty good idea.
It does. I don't even know what. Yeah. I'm assuming wings or whatever. That sounds like a place that I might enjoy. Yeah.
Sounds good. Because to me, see, I'm from that area. As we know, I'm a Waxahachie boy. But being from Waxahachie, Plano always feels a little too ritzy. So when you tell me it's called Dirty Birds, that makes me feel a little better,
It's a little more Waxahachie that way, right?
A little more places. Most of the places in Plano, I don't think I can walk into. I think I can walk into Dirty Birds, and I might be okay. So shout out to John. Thanks for the great partnership with Longhorn Wealth Management Group. Also a reminder, we'll be back at TCH Social Austin here in the Austin area for the watch party for the 6:30 kick. Throw everything up on the big screen. And Longhorn fans, pay attention. I'm going back to the combination that has won road games. I'm going back to this combo, the pasta, the bad beat bacon, and the jellyfish. That combination won the Oklahoma game and the two crazy road games that Texas got through. Would they have gotten by Kentucky and Mississippi State if I'd had something else? I didn't risk it. I'm going back to the road game formula for the game in Athens. So come see us at TCH Social Austin. It's always
a good time. What kind of pasta
is
that? Is that like Cajun pasta or something?
It is. Yeah. It's called, it's a great Cajun sauce, kind of like they do on the salmon. It's got shrimp and chorizo in it.
Oh my goodness! I never ordered that. It's right up my.
It's killer, man.
Right in my league. Yeah. Okay, that's
shrimp and chorizo pasta. Yeah, the spiral pasta with just a perfect like Cajun kick to it.
Love it. Okay. I might be joining you if I'm up there with you on Saturday.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Come see us for the watch party. All right. So Jason, before we get to Q&A, let's talk about a 2027 wide receiver. And I believe, let's see, is this the kid from Argyle? Do I have that right? So Dallas area. We were just talking about the Dallas area. It's certainly up in that part. So Julian Caldwell, how good a receiver are we talking about?
He's really good. He's probably the best guy in the state, national top 10 receiver. I think he's ranked number 62 nationally on the Rivals industry rankings. So really good player. Just went over 1,000 yards last week. So very productive in this season, his junior season. And I got to say it too. I love saying that. Awesome kid. I mean, just an awesome, awesome kid. I mean, cool. I love talking about these guys. I was talking to somebody the other day. Oh, it was my Uber driver and his daughter. I'm going way off. I'm pulling a catch. I'm going way off the rails here. Okay. His daughter's going to play college soccer, and we got talking about my job and da 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 da. And I told him, I was like, I really appreciate when I talk to good kids because believe me, I've been doing this long enough time. I've talked to some real shitheads over the years. He goes, no, I bet you do. And I go, yeah. Well, Julian Caldwell is an awesome, awesome kid. I mean, seriously, that dude deserves all the props he can get for being a good football player, but being a high-quality person too. But anyways, okay, now that I got that out of the way, he is going to be at the Arkansas game, and he's going to be at the A&M game. That's the plan right now. He just visited Texas Tech last week. I didn't even know that. I called him, and he answered my call because he's an awesome kid. And he was on his way back from Lubbock. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. And he goes, nah, it's cool. But yeah, he's about to drop a list of favorites. Literally, Chad, it might come out by the time this video goes live. Wow. I mean, he's waiting for the edit to get done, but it's going to happen pretty soon. Texas will make that cut. Okay.
Okay. Are we thinking group of 5, group of 10? Do you know?
I don't know for sure. He didn't tell me exactly how many. He just said, hey, I'm going to drop his list of favorites. Probably I said in the coming days, but he's been to Texas. He came and visited this summer for one of their recruiting events. He's now coming to a couple games. He's been to Oregon. There's been some Oregon buzz in this one. Okay. Texas is really making him a priority, as you'd expect. Chris Jackson talks to him regularly. He said, and people who watch us who are in Orange Bloods will be like, oh, no. But he said, Texas has been my dream school. It's like Texas for the longest time had this dream school curse. All these players would be like, Texas is my dream school, but then they go somewhere else.
You don't
Somebody
want the
recently broke that streak. I can't think who it was. So maybe Julian Caldwell can continue to break the dream school curse. But he'll be back in Austin twice in the next few weeks, and Texas will have a chance to really impress. And again, look for him to trim his list probably this week sometime, and look for Texas to make that cut.
Interesting. And of course, a commitment. Again, you're 6 days away. If you're going to both of those games, a Saturday and a Friday, it's going to be cool, but it's going to be a great time. If you want to hang out with and experience everything with Texas football, the energy around those two games should be wild, obviously, especially the A&M game. And especially if Texas can get it done against Georgia this week. Julian Caldwell.
You'd be crazy not to go to the A&M game, right? If you're a recruit, like you're getting a free ticket to that game. I mean,
of those two, right. If you're talking about game atmosphere and you want to see it, you obviously pick that game. But I don't
know how much those tickets are selling for, especially if Texas ends up beating Georgia. How much are those tickets going to sell for? Texas and Texas A&M. I mean, and you're getting a free ticket. Ooh.
Yeah, it's true. But the other part of it, Jason, from the realistic side, we've been talking about how these kids, you talk about, when you talking to the kids that seem to be really good kids, they're also so intent on details that you wouldn't have thought about, things that they like to ask coaches, things that they want to see. And if I get to come in and watch both of those games, I get to see like a game you're supposed to win, a game against a team that's not as good as you, but how do you handle that? And you get to sort of maybe get a feel for how the coaches are dealing with a game like that. And then you get to see crazy circus time. Then you get to see the Aggies are coming in, the Aggie fans are, because I'm not saying Arkansas fans won't be crazy at DKR, but
it's a rivalry game. They'll be excited.
They'll be there, right? But they're not going to come in with the attitude that the Aggies will show up with. So
not this year.
It's going to be a heck of a show. And anybody that knows that rivalry knows this is like every rivalry, but there is something about what the opposite fan base does to a home crowd in a rivalry And it's magic both ways in that rivalry, but specifically what the Aggie fan base can do to Austin, that place can sizzle in the right environment. Because Longhorn fans see those Aggies and it's like, oh, good Lord, these people again. And it just, there's something about it. The energy just is
after
different.
all these years too. Like when would have been the last time they played in Austin?
Right. 2010.
Is that right? Yeah, I guess so. The year
right.
before.
Yeah. 2010, Cyrus Gray has a decent game and the Aggies win by 7, if I'm not mistaken.
I must have blacked that one out. I remember the other game the year after that.
Yeah. It's fair. Yeah.
I went to a lot of those A&M Texas games when I was in college in Austin. And
yeah,
it's a different vibe than any other game I went to. It is. It's fun.
It's a very cool thing. So for all these guys, Julian Caldwell and otherwise, it's going to be interesting to see. Jason, before we get to the Q&A, just kind of along those lines, are you getting the sense that both of those weekends might be equally packed? Or do you think more of the recruits are going to do maybe what we said earlier, like come in for the Arkansas game, knowing that the Thanksgiving week can get crazy? What do you think we're going to see in terms of the two lists?
I've had a lot of people tell me going back like 2-3 months, like I will be at that Texas and Texas A&M game. So I know a lot of guys have been planning on showing up to that game, but like, again, the logistics of the travel might be a little more difficult. Sometimes kids don't think about, oh, wait, it's a Friday night. And right, how do I get there? This, that, and the other. So hard to say, honestly, right now. I think both of them will be major recruiting events for Texas, but I don't exactly know which one will be bigger in terms of how many guys show up and that kind of thing. It's hard to say just yet.
All right, let's hit some Q&A, Jason, before we close the doors here. Speaking of the Aggies, it's a question about a Longhorn commit and A&M. Turntine and A&M, are there whispers out there? What are you hearing?
Well, nothing, honestly. I need to check with some of my A&M guys and see if they're hearing anything. I have not heard anything about John Turntine, the Texas offensive line commit, flirting with A&M. Everything I've heard from Turntine since, honestly, before he even announced his commitment, that dude was so locked in on Texas. So that would surprise me. I haven't heard those whispers. I'll kick the tires on it this week just to be safe. I don't want to be, quote unquote, caught with my pants down for a lack of better description. But I have not heard that A&M's a threat with John Turntine.
I don't care what the school is, Jason. I'm still going to say it's going to be tough for the Aggies if they really want John Turntine to deal with that Dallas triple. He showed up to Texas OU. Texas won the game, and he took his shirt off and took pictures.
And he was at the Vanderbilt game, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Okay.
So he's kind of taken a step away from the media spotlight, which is interesting. After he committed, he decided, like, I'm going to kind of take a step away. So I honestly haven't talked to John in a minute, but everything I hear kind of behind the scenes and his actions tell me, hey, he's locked in with Texas.
Yeah. Here's a weird question for you. If you're Sark, and let's say there were a whisper, a thought, a whatever about Turntine, maybe he could. Would you want him would you want him in Austin for the A&M game, or would you want him away from the game because there might be whispers?
Nah, you want him in Austin so you can talk to him, hug him up, talk to him before the game, after the game, talk to his family, his little brother, everything. Yeah, you want him in Austin regardless.
Yeah, no, I would agree. All right, here's a flip question for you. Oh, I love this name. I wish it could be, but I don't think it is. Is Texas still trying to flip Malachi Lee? What's the up? We haven't talked about him in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been pretty quiet, honestly. When he first committed to Michigan, he's an offensive lineman out of Hawaii, by the way. Did take a Texas official visit. Texas pretty much finished second to Michigan. When he first committed to Michigan, we were kind of hearing behind the scenes like, hey, Texas is going to make a run at that dude. Just wait. At the last minute, Texas is going to come in and make a strong run. Well, I think some of that was predicated on maybe Michigan struggling a little bit and maybe he wouldn't be as enamored with Michigan. But it's been really quiet with on the Malachi Lee front. We mentioned Bryson Martinez, the LSU commitment. I think that's where you probably should be more focused. There's a guy named Micah Smith out of Florida who's committed to UCLA. Texas offered him. I think Ohio State might have a better chance of flipping him than Texas does.
Yeah. But, Michigan's had a nice solid year there.
Yeah, not bad. Would Texas flip Malachi Lee? 100%. Are they still trying? Sure. But is it going to happen? I think it's looking less and less likely.
Yeah. I wonder if the Michigan season kind of affected things, because obviously the young quarterback talent, the ability to protect that guy. moving forward would certainly be there. Quick question, Jason, because it's a guy like Malachi that's got to come from Hawaii to visit places. Have you heard any stories about recruits and like the government shutdown and all these, flight stories? I know, you just had a weekend where you dealt with a flight thing. Anwar had a crazy story coming back from one of the games. Have you heard anything from recruits?
Yeah. Mine was weather related, but to answer your question, no, I have not at all heard any issues about recruits. Knock on wood. They've from the ones I've talked to, they've all been fortunate and hadn't had any problems getting in and out.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Because if I was a big time recruit, I think I'd be going everywhere. But I'm in hope that this situation going on right now is not messing with that too much. One final one, Jason. We're headed back to the DFW conversation. What has happened to DFW recruiting? Sark has almost missed on every blue chip recruit from the DFW area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember who submitted this one, but they're not totally wrong if you think of Decorian Moore and Felix Ojo's in that area. John Turntine's in that area, but like some of the bigger names, I mean, Fasusi, they haven't been going to Texas, which is interesting because I think it was after the Oklahoma game this year, if memory serves. Sark mentioned something about like, hey, dude, you got to recruit DFW well because DFW players made such an impact in that game. But, I don't think it's necessarily an ongoing issue. I don't think it's something that I have filed away like Texas is really struggling in DFW for some reason. I just think that's kind of the way the cycles have gone recently. I mean, could Texas have gotten Decorian more if they'd have thrown a bigger number at him in NIL? Maybe, possibly. Just different elements have led some of these guys, elite guys, blue chip guys, to go different directions. And the cards haven't fallen Texas's way. But I don't think Texas has a DFW problem necessarily, despite, I mean, if we're being honest, yes, there have been some misses in that area.
All right, Jason, I'm asking on behalf of the Waxahachie Chamber of Commerce, if Cohen Brown sticks with Texas and signs, and then say down the road a Jaquan Snell out of Waxahachie ends up as a Longhorn, does that help the DFW area issue?
That's a question for you. Is Waxahachie part of the DFW? Or is that DFW? I don't know. I know it's in the area, but how big do we go with DFW here? So
when I would tell somebody earlier, I've never said I grew up in Dallas ever. It's like 30 miles south of Dallas. So I usually say Dallas area.
That's like San Marcos, Austin.
Yeah, I know. No, it is. I think you're right. So yeah, maybe Waxahachie doesn't count in the discussion, but whereas obviously like a Duncanville or DeSoto or whatever, just a little bit of a different feel. Even though
those are more the traditional kind of metroplex schools that people talk about when you're talking recruiting.
Yes, teams that play Waxahachie, but Waxahachie is a little different feel. So I get it. I get it. But just saying, if you want the area considered, got a couple of Waxahachie Indians that they're taking a look at. But it is interesting to note that, especially, I got to see that Duncanville group that had Decorian Moore. And of course, the Longhorns end up with a couple of those guys. January and Simmons were both on that team, but also the quarterback was Keelan Russell that night, who ends up somewhere else, and obviously with Decorian Moore.
Exactly. You mentioned Colin Simmons. You can't forget. I mean, Texas has landed some. I mean, Anthony Hill. They've landed some really good players. Just last cycle, in this cycle, haven't kind of fallen their way. But again, I don't think there's a DFW problem for Texas.
Yeah. That's one of those things fans always keep an eye on, man. If they feel like you're a little off in DFW or you're a little off in the Houston area, they're going to let you know. I don't need to tell you that, Jason, because that's been half your life for probably your whole career of dealing with Dallas and Houston questions. All right, that's our Q&A for the week. And remember, check out the 3-2-1 article with Jason. We are unable to cover the whole thing every week, but we grab some stuff from there. Jason's got his full SEC rankings. And yes, if you want to, read the beginnings of maybe a sway back towards picking the Longhorns, that's in the 3-2-1 as well. Jason's feeling that Longhorn vibe right now. Got to speak it into existence for it to happen, right? If Texas is going to get it done in Athens. So check that out, orangebloods.com. Jason, anything else before we close up?
No, I think we've covered most of the pertinent stuff. Like you said, there's other stuff in there. We'll have the rumor mill, truths and lies, war room, those types of things. We'll cover even more recruiting news.
Yeah, thank you guys for supporting orangebloods.com and Orange Bloods Live. Like, subscribe, get your notifications. The subscriber number is up over 181,000 this week. Thank you so much for that. And if you want to really get dialed in, get to orangebloods.com, get signed up. We would certainly appreciate it. Maybe there's somebody on your Christmas gift list that would appreciate a unique gift like that. Hey, I got you 6 years of Orange Bloods. How about that? I'll make it 10. Make it 10. A decade of Orange Bloods just for you. You know, Uncle Joe.
If anyone signs up for 10, hit me up. I'll give you a free year if you sign up for 10 years.
There you go. 11 years for the price of 10. You heard it here.
Manually make that happen. Absolutely.
Jason will make it happen. All right. Until next Wednesday at 10 when we debut another one. This is your Recruiting Insider. Shout out to John and Longhorn Wealth Management Group. They bring it to you every week right here on Orange Bloods Live. Y'all take care. See you.